Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending our webinar. As Julia said, my name is José María Delgado and I belong to the Fuji Electric Europe HMI department. I'm the product manager of the Fuji Electric HMI in Europe. I have been working for the last 13 years at Fuji Electric Europe. And in my first 9 years, I was responsible for the technical support of our HMI product. But I was lucky that I could find a person who is better than me at that. My colleague, Gustavo Martinez, who is taking responsibility now for the technical support. Therefore, my only chance was to move to the dark side of the sales. Okay, so let's start with today's topic. Today's topic is the new role of our Fuji Electric MoniTouch V9 in the automation world, and which benefits we can get from this fantastic device. So let's get started. And why we are talking about the new role? Because it's quite easy. I mean, the world is becoming digital. We are forced to confirm it due to the tough situation that we are living for the last 3 months. Huge amounts of data are spread every day. Multiple connections, remote access. So that's not only in the private life, but also at every business. So let's check what our V9 can do to help customers to survive in this new digital world. I would like to give a brief outline of today's presentation. And this webinar will have 4 main blocks. In these 4 main blocks, we will show how the HMI device has changed its role from a more basic use to a high performance level. The blocks are from HMI to WMI, the new roles of HMI today, WMI V9 and Frank drive combination, case study, and in the end I will give some lines, some ideas to sum up all the contents. So then let's start with the first point. Every one of us is using a device like the one in the center of the slide. And some of us are using it most of the time to listen to the music or to watch videos or to send emails. But let's remember that it's just a phone. It was initially designed to make audio calls. But this is now a kind of side use because the way of using it has evolved with the influence of the internet and the state of art of the technology. If we go to the next slide, we can see another device in the center of this slide. Most of the current automation system and machines are using it. But nowadays, some of the most popular use features of this device can be the data logger or the field gateway or maybe the VPN router. But don't forget that this device is just an HMI and it was initially designed to program lamps, switches, data displays. But currently, these functions are so basic that no one is asking about them. And they are asking for some others, like the ones that I already mentioned, or the ones that are written in this slide. So we can say that our MoniTouch V9 is no longer an HMI, but a WMI. This is because our product has evolved from a human-machine interface to a web-machine interface. In the past, the only user of this device was a human being with his fingers. But nowadays, many operations that are operated in the device are coming from the web. As you know, the remote operation is becoming essential in the current industrial world. So then let's identify what are the main roles of an HMI in the tough period that we are living in. Okay. As I have mentioned before, The HMI was initially designed with a basic purpose. The purpose itself was to replace big control desks or cabinets, which had many switches, lamps, levers, display devices, etc. But it was more than 30 years ago. So the basic functions, like the ones I mentioned, are now a kind of commodities, and the customers are asking for more advanced features. Most of them have understood that they need a WMI, because in the end, WMI is an HMI with powerful remote features. So if we get in deep detail, we can define 4 of the most important new roles that our Monitouch WMI V9 can support. Okay, these new roles are represented by the following features: the teleservice, the notifications, the data collection, and the remote monitor and control. Thanks to these new features, we can do a remote connection on demand, and we can minimize the affection of issues or failures in the machine. We can collect data in order to analyze it and improve the performance of the machine. And thanks to the remote monitor and control, we can be virtually on site. We can act at any time in the system. Of course, many people can ask if these new roles have an expensive cost. If we can imagine a graph like the one that I'm showing in this slide, where the y-axis is money and the x-axis is features, we can conclude that the investment in getting a Monitouch WMI is very low if we think in what it can offer. I mean, we will check in detail later in the explanation of our case study. But a basic HMI can be in the first price level. I think most of you can imagine that this first level can be close to 200, 250, 300 euro. And then our WMI can start at the second level to a third level. Okay, so depending on the model, on the size, the price can change, but the investment is peanuts related to the device potential. Okay, so following this previous graph, I would like to explain what are the features that we are talking about. Firstly, our Monitouch V9 delivers one of the most powerful connectivities in the industry. We can connect to more than 400 protocols among different devices like PLC, drives, temperature controllers, etc. We have experience with almost every PLC manufacturer, the most popular like Siemens, Omron, Mitsubishi, and of course, popular communication protocols like Modbus, Profibus, EtherCAT, CodeSys, etc. At the same time, we have the ability to connect to devices that complement the customer systems, like printers or barcode readers, USB cameras. So that opens a huge bunch of possibilities, not only in the new systems or in the new projects that your customers are going to develop, but also in the retrofitting projects. Secondly, we have a built-in VPN router, and that means that it allows the WMI V9 to be remotely accessed and be prepared to be monitored, thanks to the BNC server feature. We can also use our FTP to share and manage files. And we can also use some Fuji Electric remote software like TELUS. In third position, our V9 can act like a data logger. So that means that we can collect information from any values in the machine. I'm talking about operation values, alarms, production values, everything that we can imagine can be logged and stored. This information can be recalled to be checked in the Monitouch V9 itself, or it can be saved in files, which can be analyzed later to check the machine's performance. And about the last point, we can say that the quality is one of our most popular points. I mean, all the Monitouch V9 are designed and manufactured in Japan, and our standard fault ratio is less than 0.5%. Of course, our quality standards are very high, and our quality and assessment department is continuously working to improve it even more. Okay, so at this point, and before talking of the real success story, I would like to remind some benefits of the Fuji Electric solution, combining our HMI V9 with the Fuji Electric Phrenic drives. Let's start giving a quick look to our V9 range of product. As you can see in this slide, there are 3 different levels of Monitouch V9: the light, the standard, and the advanced series. Depending on the size of the panel and the resolution or some additional features, it is possible to select the Monitouch V9 that fits better in every application. But there is one interesting point, which is common to all of them. This point is that from the light to the advanced series, every V9 has a built-in BPN router. It allows all the models to become a WMI because the user can remotely access to the panel, or not only the panel, but also all the connected devices to the panel. And we can do it of course, in a secure way. We don't have to care about security. Now, let's check what an WMI can do to get more benefits in the use of our Phrenic drives. All the Monitouch V9 range can be connected to every Fuji Electric Phrenic drive. So we can connect them by serial or Ethernet. The access to every parameter is possible because there are some specific features designed especially for the Phrenic drives. So if we combine the two products, the two Fuji Electric products, the most powerful and the most useful functionalities we can get from what we call the Fuji Electric solution are the following ones. First, we can have full access of all the parameters in the drive. So we can monitor or modify or download the full bunch of parameters very easily. Secondly, in our graphic library, there are dedicated kpets already designed and programmed so that you only have to copy and paste into your application. And just by doing this action, you will be able to have a virtual keypad with almost the same features that the standard physical drive keypad. Okay, it can help a lot in the startup of the drive, or later if we want to check some specific parameter. There is also a powerful alarm server that can be linked to the warning, alarm, and alarms menus of the drive. So those can help in the emergencies or malfunctions very much. Sorry. Then we have another useful feature that is the data logger. It is possible to log the alarms that I mentioned and include some interesting values like the motor's current or voltage, power, and even we can make an historical file of it. All these features are valid locally, but also remotely. We only have to activate in our V9 the VPN router. So as you can see, our offer to the customer combining the two products is of a very high added value at every replication. Okay, so at this stage, we can go to the last point. I think maybe it is the most interesting because we are going to show in a real case how our WMI v9 was applied into a customer. Our success story is, the customer of this success story is an OEM that we had been lately contacting, which was looking at a new phase for their machines. We tried to win some project sometimes ago, but we offered our basic HMI and we did not succeed. We had an advantage that this customer was already using our Fuji electric drives, but even if they were using our Fuji electric drives, they were still using a competitor's HMI. We were lucky that this time they had an issue, and they were looking also for different suppliers which can offer remote connectivity by means of a VPN router. So our challenge was to offer the perfect product for them in a reasonable range of price. Of course, price is always an important point when deciding. So we offered them our V9 with 2 lamp ports and 7-inch wide screen, which is equipped with a built-in VPN router, as I mentioned before. Thanks to this product and thanks to our constant support to them, helping them with the application, we could win their confidence, and in the end, they choose our product to start their new machine. Okay. So the history line of this case was as follows. Firstly, we made a first contact to discuss the project and to see what features they needed, and of course we explained them our idea of which was the best product for them in our portfolio. After 1 month, they contacted us back and they made a first purchase order with the selected V9 model. During 2 months, it was a period of constant support and advice to them. They started the first machine test on site, and it was they had very satisfactory results. And then two months later, with the machine ready to work, they wanted to have tests using the remote solution. Okay, so we had to help them to set up the built-in VPN router and to train them in how to use it. And just after 1 additional month, they started the mass production with our products. I would like then to explain about the key points we see which convinced the customer to choose our product. It's not because we are handsome or we are nice. It's because we covered with no issues the connectivity part due to the ability to connect to the standard PLC. Their PLC was an Omron PLC, and they didn't want to switch to any other supplier. But as I explained, they were already using the Fuji electric drives. Okay, so at the same time we could connect not only the PLC and the drives to our HMI, but also we easily connect a printer they were using in the network and a barcode reader through our USB port. Okay. Then, as a second point, as I mentioned, they were looking at a VPN solution. Okay, they were starting to check on the market which devices could be good for their new machine. And they got surprised that we had a built-in router inside the B9 itself. So they were happy to know it and to use it to do this remote access. I will explain in detail later which functionalities they use. About login, of course, they had some requests as well. We could follow what they asked for because they wanted to collect data, specific values of the machine, alarms or warnings. And also they use our operation log function that I will describe in detail later. It was a surprise for them, for the customer. And to complete our offer, they were more than happy to use 3 of our powerful functions, even if these functions were not a key point in the beginning. The customer got very happy to use them. Okay, and these functions are the macro editor, the gateway function, and the security level that I will describe in detail later. So now let's take a look at the connectivity part. Okay, as I have mentioned during this webinar, thanks to hundreds of the supported drivers, we satisfied the customer needs regarding this connectivity. They were using an on-prem PLC, which is using the CJ2 Ethernet protocol. And of course, we could connect to our friendly case drives, which were using Modbus RTU. As I said before, one of the requests was to be able to send some information to print to the printer and send the commands as well to control the device. I mean, they wanted to start the printer from the HMI. In addition, they needed to use a barcode reader, and we could do it because we support different types of barcode reader through our USB ports. So it is clear that this point was very important for them when they want to change a device like a PLC or like a HMI, the connectivity is an important topic. Following, I'm going to talk about logging. In this project, the customer did not only need to manage the alarms coming from the motors that are controlled by the drives, by the Fuji electric drives, but also different alarms and values coming from the system. This time, they use our alarm server to manage the alarms, and also our login server to collect any interesting data regarding performance, consumption, working hours, etc. In addition, they got surprise of our operation log control. Okay, this function is an interesting one because it allows to store any performed operation in the panel. So a traceability of every single action that is performed in the panel can be stored in a file. It helps later to analyze the cause of any strange behavior or failure, etc. The next topic is another of the main reasons why our customer decided to choose our B9. So I may say that, of course, the data collection is important. Other additional features are important, but the connectivity and the remote access, I may say, are the more important topics that we use to win the customer. As I have told many times before during this session, all of our B9 panels had a built-in VPN router inside, and they wanted to use the VPN feature so that they can do teleservice to solve issues with their machines when needed, as a big part of their production is exported. Okay, so they can save time and money in trips, and they can upload and download the screen program. If they want to update the program, modify it. In addition, they can use this VPN feature and do routing in order to modify the PLC program as well, or the Fenix drive parameters. So they can act as if they were in the office, just programming the HMI or the PLC or the drive. I mean, it gives a powerful help to the customer. Okay. Our FTP functionality. We call it the data transfer service, and we can use the FTP as a server and as a client. Okay, that means that the B9 can be programmed, and in fact, the customer programmed the HMI to send login data every day at a desired time. I don't remember exactly, but I think when they start production, they send some information through FTP, and when the machine stop the production, they also send the data. So this helps to analyze. And the customer is also using our BNC server functionality. The B9 then can be connected, can be accessed remotely, and the customer can, from the office, can monitor or control the panel if there is a need of it. This control needs to be a BNC client tool in your PC to be executed, but any BNC client is valid to use it. I mean, it's a free software, and I have to say that in the last month, if I remember well, last month we released our BNC client tool that is just a BNC client, but under the Fuji Electric name. Okay, so to conclude, I would like to talk about other features that maybe were not so important, but also make the customer happy when building the project. Firstly, they use our macro editor, and it helps in getting special features or special parts of program by writing some code. And it was another good point that the customer appreciated. I have to say that with this macro editor, with some macro communication commands, the communication between the HMI and the printer was made. And it was one of the deciding points, because our client needed to make connection, as I explained, with a netbook printers, as it was a request of one of their main end customers. And with the previous HMI, they couldn't achieve this. So it was a pain in the neck of our customer. And it was, in fact, we were surprised, because, I mean, it was not a tough feature. Or at least in our HMI, it was not a tough feature, but it was a very deciding point. Then they were also happy to use our gateway function. With this gateway function, it is possible to exchange data between devices that are connected to our B9 in a very easy and direct way. So they need this function to send some data from the drives to the Omron PLC in order to control the performance of the machine. They needed to be constantly checking some drive values, and it was possible to be achieved thanks to this gateway function that we call device memory map. Just I want to go to the last useful feature that they use, and it was the security level. They needed to define in the machine 3 different users, like operator, the maintenance, and administrator. Thanks to our security level, where we can set up to 16 levels, and I think it's 64 users, each of the levels. Allowed to create the different levels to give the right permissions to people managing the machine. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next. Now we are just 5 minutes to finish. Maybe I cannot see your faces, but I know you must be smiling and relaxed, because very soon you will be free from this webinar. And the weekend is around the corner. So I covered all the topics that I needed to share with you. Now I would like to do a fast reminder of some key points of today's webinar. Remember that our Fuji Electric's V9 is not a basic HMI, but a WMI with many advanced features. Can be achieved thanks to the built-in VPN router, which every model of V9 has. So by choosing any of our V9, you will be able to offer a big added value at any automation project you want to face. Okay. So if you are already using a Phrenic drive, for example, you can combine it with our V9. And I'm sure you will have the perfect solution for your project. And all this, I have to say, this, as I explained in one of the slides, all this you get for a very small investment, which gives you lots of benefits. You create value, you offer additional services, you improve the performance, the productivity of any system. Okay. The Phrenic drive, if you already tried, or the Monitouch V9 are top class products. This is clear. We have the highest quality standards that you can find in the market, and we have to say that all of our customers are very happy when they try our products. I mean, once you go Fuji Electric, you cannot go back. This is clear. Just to end, I would like to mention that you can contact us, either my colleague Gustavo, who is the best HMI support engineer in the world, or me, that I'm just another salesman in the world. You can contact us in this email account, info.hmi. And I recommend you that you can also check our website. It's www.fujielectric-europe.com. You can find there interesting information such as catalogs, manuals, or application notes. And if you need additional information, please check our global website. It's www.monitouch.com, where you can even go further if you need some more specific information about our device.